And hello again, YouTube. It is 6:05 p.m., Monday, April 18th, 2022. And I need a free hand to put that other phone in my pocket. So, fortunately, I love my steady camera work. So fortunately, the bus driver on the I-10 West Rapid buses are always a lot more kind and understanding than the buses on the drivers on the regular city buses. I was got to be super careful of people coming up that ramp because they do not like to stop for this crosswalk. And to be fair, it is really hard to see pedestrians in this crosswalk from that ramp. So speaking of this ramp, as you can see, there's what should be traffic light poles here. The original design of this intersection was not for it to be just a free flow, turning left, ignore the crosswalk there. And there's another pole where a traffic light should be. The original plan for this intersection was for a traffic light to be up here, and there also to be access. Now you see the poles. There's supposed to be a traffic light up here. Now there was only supposed to be street connectivity going eastbound or inbound towards downtown Phoenix. So it's not a mistake that there's no ramps going the other direction. However, there was supposed to be access to a light rail station, with a light rail station placed below the ramp. In fact, I've mentioned it before, but it's been quite a while since I mentioned it, especially since I've realized that any plans for light rail underneath this bridge must have been scrapped, because when they added the interchange for the 202 going southbound, which is at about 59th Avenue, all the space where they did the construction to accommodate that, they eliminated the easement which was set aside for light rail. It's been completely eliminated in favor of additional car lanes, because, it's all about people who drive and fuck anybody who doesn't. But as you can see, there's quite a bit of space underneath me. And where that wire is down the center there, the reason that median is so wide is the original plans for this freeway, in particular this intersection, called for light rail in the median of it. And as you can see, there's a pretty hefty gap between the on-ramp, as you see this red car going on it, and the off-ramp there. And that was because there's an underpass directly underneath here, specifically for the future light rail, which is of course never ever going to be built. Such is the state of transit in Phoenix, Arizona. Although now they're building additional light rail in places where, in my opinion, it's absolutely not needed. They're extending the main light rail line, or the only light rail line, I should say, from where it terminates at 19th Avenue and Dunlap. They're extending it down Dunlap to, I believe, 25th Avenue. And then from, oops, I'm blocking the lens again. And then from 25th Avenue, they're extending it to northbound to approximately Mountain View, at which point it's going to curve and go westbound. They're currently in the process of an overpass, and it's mostly built crossing I-17, where it goes over I-17, and then the rest of the track from that point is aerial, and it's supposed to go into where the shell of Metro Center is. Metro Center used to be the largest mall in America when it was built, but now it's just another closed, dead mall. It's been closed for approximately 2 years, and the whole area is just an absolute, it's the definition of suburban wasteland. The whole area is just seething with property crime. There's been murders there on a regular basis, unsolved murders. When I go up there, I just see loads of meth heads. Oh, and here you see the campground that is now 79th Avenue, north of I-10. Anyway, you see in that area around Metro Center, there's just loads of fentanyl junkies wandering around like zombies. And grown-ass men up at weird hours of the night riding around on 20-inch bicycles with no lights on the bikes. So yeah, it's on a scale of 1 to 10 sketchy, it's a pretty solid 9 these days. I mean, maybe adding the light rail in there and redevelopment of the area might make it something better, but what would have been better than that would have been running the light rail to the mall a decade ago, when there was still a viable mall there and the area hadn't turned to complete shit. At this point, all that's going to do, for the most part, what I think it's going to do is just make it that much easier for all the junkies and homeless people that hang out in that area to get to other parts of town. There's plans for a mixed-use development with luxury apartments and high-end shopping. I can't even say that without laughing, because nobody wants to go to a place for high-end shopping where it's highly likely their car is going to get broken into. So that the junkies can steal the cigarettes out of their center console. Because literally in that part of town, people will knock out your window in your car if you got a pack of cigarettes visible through the window. It happens. Must suck to be a cigarette smoker and be addicted to nicotine and not be able to afford that habit. But it seems to be a lot of that, especially among the homeless and the people that are addicted to other drugs. Like the cigarette thing seems to be the most pervasive. Also, like high-end luxury apartments. Yeah, I can't imagine. Like, if I was in the market to spend, $2,000 plus for a luxury apartment, I would probably be getting something downtown, like the ones that I showed in my last video above the Taco Bell Cantina, or maybe something in Central Tempe or Old Town Scottsdale. I sure as shit wouldn't be getting anything anywhere near Metro Center. Screw that. Ooh, it has light rail connectivity. Yeah, so I can spend an hour plus on a train to get downtown? Thank you. No, thank you. Hard pass. I mean, I hope it's a successful thing, but I just, I don't see it being a successful thing. It just strikes me as an absolutely asinine thing and a massive waste of tax dollars to continue to extend that line into an area that is an absolute wasteland of crime and drug infestation. It just doesn't seem like a good idea at all. Like, there was a time for a light rail line to Metro Center. That time was like 13 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. Now is not the time. Now it is a waste of effort and money. A light rail line down I-10 West to Buckeye. That would actually be something useful. Anyway, the other thing they're extending, they're doing some kind of a loop through downtown Phoenix, and I walked along what looks like where the track is going in, and wasn't really able to figure out much of it other than it just seems like this weird diversion that goes around a couple of random city blocks without any stops. I mean, hey, look, that thing does travel. That's the van I see people living in. It's usually right where the sidewalk starts. It's the first time I've actually seen it move, although I do notice sometimes it's not there. So at least it's a functional vehicle and not just an old rusty husk of a van that's being used as a homeless shelter. So anyway, so they're doing this little loop around like the City Hall building, south of the City Hall building, but like around the Good building and the City Council chambers and the central or the old courthouse building. I have no idea what the hell the purpose of that is, or where there's going to be any train platforms. I'm sure the plans are posted somewhere, but I haven't been able to find them. But I did walk around the area, and it's just a big clusterfuck right now. Like, there's places where there were heavy, very busy pedestrian crosswalks, basically where 2nd Avenue used to be, and now they're blocked off, so pedestrians have to go over to 3rd or over to 1st to get from city buildings to the other city buildings, from the courthouse buildings to the other courthouse buildings. So yeah, that's not helpful. And to take a track, like, it just seems like it's taking the track like 5 blocks out of the way for absolutely no purpose whatsoever. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it is going to serve a purpose. But from what I see in the construction, it just looks like 5 needless blocks of track that is just creating additional traffic conflicts, and it's just going to make a slow train, a slow, inefficient train, even more slow and even more inefficient. So that, there's a photo op of, hey, look, here's our light rail going in front of our Phoenix City Hall building. Never mind that it doesn't go anywhere. It just has this 5-block useless loop that slows shit down. So yeah, that's being built. They're also extending a track south on Central, and probably also on First Avenue to where it joins Central, into South Central Phoenix along Central Avenue. Yeah, I've been pretty vocally against that one too. I really believe it's going to just destroy what was all the things that made South Central Phoenix an okay community. And okay community is about the best I can say for it, because it's always kind of been a not such a great part of town. But there's been a bunch of businesses there, and it's a pretty solid, Hispanic community down there. And I think and a lot of people that were down there are like, oh, it's great. There's going to be light rail here now. We're going to have better transportation. Oh, no, you're not. No, you're not. Because once that train is there, all the businesses and all the stuff adjacent to the tracks are going to get shut down. Right now, most of those businesses have gone out of business because people can't access it, and it's been under construction for years. And then what's going to happen after that is it's all going to get bought up by property developers, and it's all going to get gentrified. And then all the people that live there that were excited about it, we're going to have better transportation here. We're going to have better transportation. It's going to be light rail here. Yeah, they're all going to be priced out. So that transportation isn't going to be there for them. And those people already had pretty good transportation with what used to be the Route 0, as well as the Route 7 and the Route 8, covering Central Avenue, 7th Street, and 7th Avenue, respectively, all of which were well-serviced routes. Now as it is, 0 no longer goes into South Phoenix. There's a 0, I think it's called the 0A, which doesn't function very well because the whole road is under construction, which goes down South Central. The 7 and the 8 are still plenty functional buses, so nothing has really changed with them. I stopped to tie my left shoe because I can't seem to keep my shoes tied. When I started this video, I forgot what it was I was going to talk about, and here I am just ranting about rail and public transit again. But yeah, super frustrating that what would have been a really useful rail project of running, westbound along I-10 in the median of I-10, which is a train that could have been fast instead of the street level train that stops at intersections like a bus and stops every half mile like a bus and never exceeds 35 miles per hour, could actually function like light rail does in other cities inside a freeway corridor where it goes fast between stations. And assuming that they were smart enough to make the stations, a few miles apart and have connecting buses to them. But I do know one of the places where there was a planned station was here at 79th Avenue, which would have been helpful as hell for me working off 79th Avenue. But those plans got scrapped. In fact, if memory serves, the destination for that line was supposed to go out to Loop 101 and then go north along Loop 101 and end in the Glendale, I forget what the hell the development area is called, but the area around Glendale where the football stadium is, and I guess it's the hockey stadium or whatever. There's an indoor stadium, sports stadium there that also has large concerts where I saw Tool about 2 years ago. The football stadium where the Cardinals have played since they moved them out of ASU. And then there's a whole bunch of other commercial development there, and that area has for the most part thrived. But yeah, they were going to make and thrived in spite of the fact that it has almost no transit connectivity at all, no buses, nothing. But yeah, the plan was to run light rail from downtown along I-10, then along Loop 101 north to Westgate. That's what that development area is called, Westgate. So yeah, that's been completely scrapped. And I think a lot of that has to do with Glendale deciding that they didn't want any part of it. But that doesn't mean that Phoenix couldn't have just continued with their part of it. And there's other suburbs to the west of Phoenix that certainly could have come on board and just had that route continue to the west. And I'm talking about like Avondale and Goodyear and Buckeye. I mean, Buckeye is the fastest growing city in the United States. So yeah, and also easily the most far removed suburb in the entire Phoenix metro area. Well, they're kind of cross between them and Queen Creek, but yeah, people that commute to Central Phoenix from Buckeye, they got to commute from hell. They really do. And having a comparatively high-speed train option, and I'm not talking about high-speed rail, I'm just talking about light rail that actually goes, faster than 55 miles per hour, or 65 miles per hour, which would be pretty normal speed for light rail on a freeway corridor. That would have been a really, really helpful option for people that live in suburbs that are west of Phoenix along I-10, especially considering like during rush hour traffic, I mean, I-10 just crawls. So, I mean, if you were going, even if it was only going 45 miles per hour, that train would be faster than driving, and I think people would use it. But yeah, we don't get that. Instead, we get a train a couple miles south into South Central Phoenix. It's destroying the fabric of the neighborhood, and an extra mile of track that goes to a dead mall, to an area that's full of homeless junkies. Thank you, Mayor Kate. Anyway, I think I'm done with that rant. I was gonna talk more about the new girlfriend, but yeah, I just need to get inside the warehouse and get my phones charged up. But yeah, so far things are happy. She's sending me happy little text messages telling me that she misses me, and I think a naked picture, which I love those. So it's been a long time since the so-called girlfriend at home has done that for me. So anyway, gonna be a good night at work, and I expect an even better morning when I get home. Well, not my home, but to the new woman's home.